Hey folks, bit of a different setting here for today's episode. If the sound isn't what you've come to expect, then don't worry, we'll be back next time with usual video, but wanted to do something a bit different. Weather's nice, wanted to get outdoors. And today, I'm going to talk about a topic which it's been quite relevant for me, particularly the last little while, and it's meditation's great curse. Now, this might sound a bit funny because most of us, even if we've not meditated much or we've never meditated before, I think we've all heard that meditation's transformative, even if we're not really sure what that means. We've all heard, snippets of scientific studies, or we've had people that we know that have tried it at some point. You might even have a friend or a close friend that's a meditator or something like that. And so more and more we're understanding as a society that it's a very transformative practice. What I think is not often talked about are some of the downsides, and this is why it's relevant for me, because the students in my local public classes have been bringing up this particular downside. A few of them been bringing it up in recent weeks, and that inspired me to do an episode on it. This actually isn't just a downside, so it's not all. This episode isn't all doom and gloom, but it's a strength as well, and it's a sign that you're actually making progress with meditation. But I just want you to be aware that this is a thing, so that you can anticipate as your own journey progresses. So, what is this great curse? What are my students realizing, and what have I been realizing for quite some time now? The great curse of meditation is basically seeing how messed up people are. In what way, you might ask? In what way do you realize that people are messed up as you meditate more? Well, just a short list for you. Their suffering, their mental patterns, their self-flagellation, their lack of presence, their falseness and their arrogance and their bullshit, their addictions, their pain, their sadness, their addiction to themselves, their body language, and their deadness. You see that people aren't really alive in a certain way. Now, it might seem quite overwhelming to have this realization, to look around and see this in people. And it can be quite overwhelming, there's no doubt about it. It's almost like if you have ever known someone, like a friend or a family member or an acquaintance who, was a bit of a mess, a bit messed up, maybe they had, self-destructive tendencies, or they had some hard addiction or something, and you just really wanted to somehow save them. You wanted to somehow just click your fingers and take it all away for them. But you can't do that, and it's painful because you can see the mess that they're in and you just want to do something about it, but you obviously don't have that power. It can be quite a similar experience, this experience of seeing how screwed up people are, because you know that potentially the work that you've done on yourself, the meditation that you've done, the self-awareness work that you've done, the growth that you've experienced, that this could really help them with the problems that they're having. I'm not saying they need to be a hardcore addict, but you see their screwed up patterns. It also sounds kind of judgmental to say this, who are you to say that people are messed up? And I think it can definitely go down that road if you get lost in those judgments and get lost in those, seeing the dark side of people and the dysfunction in them. It can definitely go down that road where you just start judging everyone and you can only see the dysfunction. So you've got to be careful with that. But at the same time, I know for a fact that this is one of the side effects of meditation. And the reports from my students, who a lot of them haven't been meditating for too long, it confirms that to me. One of the things that one of my main teachers said, and his name is Shinzen Young if you're interested, he said you don't know whether to laugh or cry at the state of the human condition. And I think that's really true. And this is why it's not judgmental, and it's not, a cause for feeling like alienated from the world. It actually inspires this great compassion in you, and it's very sad. For me, it's sad because you know that you could have been a similar way. I don't consider myself perfected at all. I've still got a lot of dysfunction in me, but compared to what I used to have, it's really incomparable. And I know that without meditation, I can't know for sure, but I can make a pretty good guess that without meditation, I would probably be in a similar place. And another reason why it's not judgmental is because, by extension, if you're doing meditation right, you also realize how messed up you are. You recognize your own suffering, your own mental patterns, your own self-flagellation, your own lack of presence, your own falseness and arrogance and bullshit, your own addictions and your pain, your sadness, your addiction to your identity and all your patterns and habits, your body language and what that conceals about you and your inner state, and your own deadness, your own zombie-like behavior, and your own lack of attention and lack of appreciation of life. This all becomes very apparent, and I think that's why it's not a judgmental thing to see it in other people, because you see it in yourself. And I would say, if you only see it in other people and you can't see it in yourself, there's something a bit lopsided there. You're not looking at yourself enough. You're using meditation as a way to sort of judge the world rather than to improve yourself. And when you realize this about yourself, it's very humbling. And though you can recognize the brokenness of people and their dysfunction in all these different areas, it's not about judging, it's about seeing the human condition with more clarity. Not just seeing it in others with more clarity, but seeing it in yourself. Seeing, who you are and all your patterns. And that's very humbling. And so all of that might sound very depressing, and well, why would I want to do meditation then if this is a great curse of meditation? Well, I would say that, first of all, if you're not seeing it, you're kind of just lost in the human condition. And that, listen to the list I've just given, it's not good to be lost in all that stuff without seeing it. And at least meditation, if overnight it's not going to transform all this stuff, it will help you see these things. And I think really the seeing is the first step to getting out of it. So before meditation, ignorance. After meditation, you see it at least, and you're in a position where you can actually start to change it because you see it. And for me, it inspires me a lot to see not only my own brokenness, but the brokenness of other people. It inspires me to change. It inspires me to keep doing meditation. It inspires me to become a better person and to use what I learn about myself to be a better teacher, to be a better meditation teacher. And so it might seem like this great curse, but actually, if you can see the upside and you can see the deeper wisdom behind that, it becomes an enormous strength, not just for yourself, but for everyone that you interact with, everyone that you come across. And well, if you decide to become some sort of guide or teacher at one point, then it'll make you a much better teacher, because you're going to see all your dysfunction and it's not going to get in the way so much. Sometimes spiritual teachers remain dysfunctional in certain ways and they just never see it. If you can see it, at least you're in a position to change it, and you're not going to get caught up by it as you're trying to lead others through their path. So ultimately, it sounds like a great curse, but it's actually very beautiful. it's very heartbreaking as well, and it inspires me to want to serve people and to want to help them, and just try and, if I can, show them a new way to live without denying the problems of life, without denying our difficulties and our pain and so on. A new way to embrace them and a new way to be in the world. I also don't want to limit the spiritual path to just like personal growth and, realizing the state of the human condition. There's many more dimensions to it than that. But I just thought this has been a particular theme for me as I continue to, grow as a meditator, and a theme for my students, which sometimes these little themes come up and it's quite shocking when it does, and I thought it was the right time to speak about it publicly. All right, I think that's all I want to say. I hope you enjoyed the different setting for today, and I'm sure next time I'll be back in a more ordinary environment. If you dig what I do, please subscribe to the channel. I've got new episodes coming twice a week till the end of the year. And, if you feel like this is really helping you get a better understanding of your inner workings, then fantastic. And keep coming back, because we've got plenty more to come. And if you want to learn a bit about meditation, hey, we've been talking about it. So if you want to learn a bit more about it, I've got plenty more videos on the channel. So just head to the videos and head to the playlist, search around, and you'll find plenty of stuff there about meditation, including free guided meditations. All right, I'm wrapping up. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.